Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. We're back at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway here tonight for race number 5 on the season. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman, and Michael, 4 races, 4 different drivers have gone to victory lane. McClure, Wesley, Knopfsker, Jeffries. We're going to look to see if we can continue the streak, have our 5th different winner go to victory lane here tonight, but when we get halfway in tonight's race, we are officially halfway through the regular season, and while there are drivers that have obviously been making plans for the postseason for the playoffs, there's some big names hovering below that 12th in the standings cut line.
Yeah, it is, and it's what's going to make things so much better and more interesting here as we're getting close to the actual playoffs itself. So I'm looking to see how much more aggressive these drivers are going to be.
Another full field here tonight. We ended up actually having to do knockout qualifying this evening. Been able to avoid knockout qualifying. We've hit 40 drivers exactly the last couple of weeks, but more than 40 drivers showing up here this evening, and we'll be running through the 40 drivers that qualified their way in here tonight, with Grant Wesley starting on the pole position, one of our 4 former winners, trying to be the first repeat winner on the year. Of course, a former champion. Alongside of him is going to be John Godfrey, making up row number 1. Donnie Garrett, he's been very consistent the last couple of weeks. He is in 3rd alongside of Tim Knopfsker, another of our former winners. Last week's winner going to complete the top 5. That's Jeremy Jeffries. He shares row number 3 alongside of, I believe that's going to be Bobby Farrell. Correction, that's Ken Roberts. He's going to be up there on the top side. Field's going to be slightly off of what you see because our own Michael Norman actually random qualified in 6th. So you got Bobby Farrell, who will be 6th, and Ken Roberts in 7th. 8th place, Tom Dixon. 9th will be Josh Metallic, and Doug Woolley will complete the top 10. Jason Scheck had a really good run last week, that podium finish. He's going to roll off 11th, with Chris Emery completing row number 6. Row 7 is going to be Bob Dixon and Cy Jones. Terry Bombard in 15th. Joe DeSpirito 16th. 17th going to be JT Mayhew. 18th, Mike Mangialardi, his 2nd start on the season. Then completing the top 20 will be Kelly Causey and Robbie Nisus. In 21st place will be Billy Elliser. 22nd, Dave Melson. Jeff Crivello will be 23rd. 24th is where we'll find Craig Hagley. 25th will be Greg Palmer. 26th, complete row 13, Bernie Mobbs. Row 14 is going to find Jerm Lewis and Brian Schilling. Then the top 30 completed by Doug Kulik and Jessica Shelton. Richard Martin, he's back at 31st. Milt Surratt, 32nd. Bob Seminaro way back in 33rd. 34th going to be Brian Rawson. I've got corrected with the pronunciation here tonight. Rawson. He'll be in the 34th spot. 35th will be Mark Paglia. 36th, Glenn Harris. 37th, Wiley Coate. 38th, Ron Hagelin, and then Nate Balser and Chuck McClure are going to complete the 40 truck field as they're going to bring them down here to the start-finish line. Grant Wesley gets race number 5 of season 59 underway. Not only going to be the halfway point of the season here tonight, Michael, but throw the extra little spanner into the works. Tonight, the first night of season 59 Tally Challenge, the bracket series, the top 32 in points in the round robin kind of March Madness bracket style tournament, kicking off here tonight with 16 different matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a race within a race, and it's always fun to watch. We got a truck already losing the pack back here. 2 of them, actually. We got Tom Dixon and Brian Rawson already didn't really get up to speed and have lost the pack already.
They're going to be hoping maybe for an early caution to bunch them back up. Was looking actually over the statistics coming into tonight's race. 4 races, average of 6 cautions per race. Drivers have not been able to really do a whole lot in terms of pit strategy here at the beginning of the season, so we'll see if this race follows along the same lines or if we will end up seeing some green flag pit stops potentially here as Donnie Garrett moving to the point. And going back to what I was mentioning about the fact we got that bracket challenge, it's funny because it'll be really interesting to watch drivers in terms of their strategy here today and in the upcoming weeks as we get closer to the finals, because more often than not, we've talked to them season after season about the battles that they've been in the bracket challenge, and oddly enough, they focus more on the 1v1 battles each week than they really do about getting that checkered flag. So you got to think that that's going to be probably at the forefront of a lot of these drivers' minds, especially the 4 drivers that have already gone to victory lane here this year.
Yeah, it usually
Oh, we got a
is.
caution.
Oh, the 21. Brian Rawson has just parked it at the bottom of the racetrack in coming out of turn number 4.
Caution out, frozen field. Jeremy Jeffries had just taken the race lead, last week's winner.
I just want to also point out something we didn't talk about on the opening here. One driver not in this race that was, I believe, was doing all right in the point standings, Dante Ricky.
There's a couple of drivers that also failed to qualify in through knockout queue here tonight. So yeah, some big names missing from the field. Let's go back and see what happened to the 21s. Reading engine camshaft. The problem on that Folgers machine. Almost wonder if potentially, you talked about him and Tom Dixon losing the draft. I wonder if the 21 maybe missed a shift or something, and then the problem just exacerbated. If we can find the point of where he has his issue. Looks like it's going into turn 3. All by his lonesome, and right there. Honestly, a little bit surprised. Now, I think that more than likely the caution would have come out with the engine failure for debris being laid down on the racetrack. There was no oncoming traffic. I believe more than likely, based off of what I know of the game system, it was reading debris up on the racing surface, and that's why it would throw the caution. Let's go on board. You'll hear the rapid decrease in speed on the Folgers machine here going in. Oh, actually, right on board with him, you can see that he was redlining actually down the back straightaway there. Now, the telemetry we have does not necessarily match up with the telemetry that a driver actually is as far as what gear they're in. But right now, I'm looking, we're going to show this again. On my end, he's in 3rd gear. Did he maybe blow 4th gear on the restart? And that's why we saw the redlining there on the dash?
He might have.
Yeah, he might have lost 4th gear. I was revving out in 3rd gear, and that's going to spike the water temperature and almost inevitably kill the engines. I almost wonder if that's what happened. It was showing 3rd gear for me at 182 miles per hour. That doesn't necessarily mean that he wasn't in 4th gear. Sometimes the spectator view... Oh, we had a wreck here, actually, I just saw. We just came back. We've got a wreck up in, I think this is 1 and 2. Doug Woolley and Bobby Farrell are facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I was just told wreck coming off of pit road.
What just happened there? I think this was, yeah, Farrell came off
Farrell got in the grass. He got in the grass and just kind of lost control.
I think he got a black flag, and he was trying to let drivers by.
Yeah, and he just went into the grass.
Yep. Wow, nowhere for Doug Woolley to go. A couple of drivers able to go up there to the top side to avoid. I think it was just those 2 trucks. I don't know about that front end damage on Doug Woolley, former champion of the Tally Challenge. Like he's going up to get his spot back. Currently, I think he would have been about maybe 5th or 6th off of pit road, based off where he was running. Tom Dixon stays out, as did a handful of other drivers ahead of him. Robbie Nisus, Jeff Crivello, Brian Schilling, Tim Knopfsker, Jason Scheck, Doug Hewlick, JT Mayhew. Hagelin's now in, as is Brian Schilling and Jason Scheck. So Knopfsker is going to stay out. Like he'll be the one to probably lead us to green. Nice has stayed out an extra lap. Got to go back to about 7th place. Grant Wesley will be the highest starting of those that pitted. along then with Jeremy Jeffries, like Tom Dixon, John Godfrey, and Donnie Garrett. Caution out and lights still on atop the pace truck. So let's run through quickly the 16 matchups here for round one of the Season 59 RTG Tally Challenge Bracket Series, based off of the seeds of 1 through 32, based off of where our drivers are positioned in the point standings at the conclusion of race 4. Also want to put a shout out there to Josh Metallic, because he should have been in this bracket series, but there was a tie for 32nd place. So to get both drivers that were tied for 32nd into the bracket challenge, Metallic actually stepped out of it. So shout out to him. But the matchups that we're going to be watching here tonight to see who advances into the second round. It's Grant Wesley versus Bob Dixon, Donnie Garrett versus Bob Seminara, Rodney Sullins taking on Bobby Farrell. Chuck McClure will be moving on. He was going to take on Dante Ricky, who's not in the field. Jeremy Jeffries will be moving on because he was taking on Brian Rawson, who is already out of the race. Gary Bombard, he's facing off against Milt Surratt. Bernie Mobbs is against Mark Paglia. Craig Hagley is facing off against Jerm Lewis. JT Mayhew taking on Joe DeSpirito. Billy Elliser is facing off against Kelly Causey. Chris Emery is taking on Jason Scheck. Dave Melson's going to be facing Ron Hagelin. It's Brian Schilling versus Glenn Harris. Cy Jones is against Greg Palmer. Tim Nofsker is going to be against Wiley Coate. And Jeff Crivello facing off against Jessica Shelton, as we got more drivers diving onto pit lane. And remember, too, drivers that are mentioned here in these matchups, if they lose here tonight, their bracket challenge is not over. There is a coinciding losers bracket that runs along with the winners bracket, and the winner of the losers bracket at the end of the challenge actually takes on the winner of the winners bracket. So there is still something in the bracket challenge for drivers to battle for, even if they're eliminated in the first round of the first week.
It's always good to look forward to, like you said. Even if the luck doesn't go your way, you still got another shot at it. Looking here, I think the pace truck lights are out.
Yes, they are. We'll get ready to go back green on lap 8 of 66. We're going to first caution of the night for a mechanical failure for Brian Rawson. He'll get credited for the 40th position here this evening. The remaining 39 drivers are on the racetrack on the lead lap and ready to get back going. It'll be Nathan Balser, former winner here of the Tally Challenge. He's going to line up on the outside of the front row for this upcoming restart. Inside line will go to second place Grant Wesley. He'll have Jeremy Jeffries behind him in third. John Godfrey will be fourth. Donnie Garrett completed the top 5. Then it's Chris Emery, Ken Roberts, Joe DeSpirito, Doug Woolley, and Josh Metallic. That's going to be the top 10 when we get ready to go back green. Got a little bit of time before we get this green flag, so give you an idea of what the playoffs look like right now. All 4 of our former winners are inside the top 12 in the point standings. They'll currently be Grant Wesley, JT Mayhew, Brian Schilling, Josh Metallic, Jeremy Jeffries, Bernie Mobbs, Tim Nofsker, Chris Emery, Rodney Sullins, Chuck McClure, Dave Melson, and Jeff Crivello, who would be the playoff contenders at this point in time. Melson and Crivello only have 5 points over Craig Hagley, only 16 points back to Terry Bombard and Cy Jones, and 17 points back to Billy Elliser and Donnie Garrett. Doesn't seem like much of a cushion when you're getting 40 truck fields every single week. A lot of points on the table every time we take the green flag here in Season 59.
Yep. 79 up a little wide there.
Also the control truck, green flag in the air. Big shove.
Wasn't even on his back bumper.
It was not, and a big shove there from Jeremy Jeffries to Grant Wesley, I believe, is going to propel Grant Wesley to the lead here through the center of 1 and 2.
He'd be wise enough to fill in that hole right there. He's going to get left because the 7-Eleven is not on his back bumper.
77 of Donnie Garrett going to jump up to the middle line there. See if they can get a run down the back straightaway. Now Jeremy Jeffries left on the inside line. He's going to pick up Ken Roberts and Joe DeSpirito. Wesley now up to the middle line, going to lead that lane through 3 and 4. As they're double wide back to around 9th, looking 3 wide for the 10th position. That's Craig Hagley up there, along with Mike Mangialardi and Billy Elliser. Mentioned Mike Mangialardi making his second start of the season in that Zero truck. Had some success, I believe it was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Picked up a team victory in the Tally Challenge along with a good buddy of ours, Jovan Anderson. We'll see if his Talladega prowess from there can carry over here in this race. We've seen drivers in their first couple of starts catch fire here in the Tally Challenge. You can think as recent back as last season, Keith Hughes. I believe he ended up picking up a victory in, it was either his second or third start, and then followed it up with another victory that year. Ended up making the playoffs as a result. Donnie Garrett jumped down to the inside on Grant Wesley. A lot of numbers down there helping propel him to the front. Jeffries moves into second. Ken Roberts now up into third. And Joe DeSpirito in the 24. Going to be, I think, a lot of eyes on that machine this evening. As DeSpirito, 4 races in, the multi-time champion, 32nd in the point standings. And that's after having a somewhat decent run last week that jumped him up 6 spots in the point standings. This guy was outside the top 35 in points 3 races in.
That's pretty good. In a way, trying to get up there, it's, you know, with a lot of people getting in here in these races, it's a lot of points you can gain and a lot of points you can lose. So being as that far back in the points doesn't always mean a bad thing, because it's still a little early in the season. So you can still climb your way back up there, especially if you keep getting these 40-plus car fields.
That's a good point, because remember back, 3 or 4 seasons ago, Grant Wesley, 3-4 races in, he was outside the top 30 in points, and I think he actually even missed a race after that and was still able to make his way up into the top 12 in the point standings. He had a win, which would have locked him in, but he was able to make his way in via points. Didn't have to actually rely on that victory. So to your point, with so many points on the table week after week, it is not time yet to hit the panic button if you are Joe DeSpirito. You've still got 5 races to work with, and remember, it's 1 extra race this season than it was last season. Last year, they only had 8 races. This season, they've got 9 races with which to work with in the regular season to get themselves ready for the playoffs. As little nervousness there. Grant Wesley, those blinking gremlins are back for driver 88. He didn't really have those problems last week, but this week, it's about the second time I think I've seen that 88 truck blink out and then blink back in, so we'll keep an eye on that, especially since it's right up here at the front of the field. Spirito trying to draw even with Donnie Garrett. Got some strong trucks on both that inside and outside line. Doug Woolley, Chuck McClure, Jessica Shelton were up there in that middle groove. You got Jeffries, Roberts, and Wesley on that inside groove, but now 3 wide. Spirito getting put in the middle. McClure jumped up to the top. Woolley jumped up to the top, and that's going to break up the middle and outside line. That's going to help the inside line for the time being. Top 3, maybe 4 are going to be clear down the back straightaway.
Got to keep it going 3 wide all over. These trucks really want to pick and choose the lane they want to be in. They're going all over the place here.
Remember, we ended up having that caution come out around lap 2 or 3, so that would extend the fuel window for these drivers. More than likely, they wouldn't have to start thinking about making a green flag pit stop until maybe somewhere around the 23 to 25 lap mark. Why we're seeing them racing it up here at the front of the field. Top 5, 6 single file, then double wide from about 7th back to maybe 19th, 20th place, and then they're 3 wide further back behind that. Now 3 wide up here around 9th place. Chuck McClure sticks Doug Woolley up to the top. He was 3 wide with John Godfrey. We got a spin and a wreck. Ron Hagel inside Jones. Mark Paglia catches some air. Caution number 2 on the back straightaway. And I'm hearing
But the
over
driver's Mark
comms,
Paglia.
another blown motor. Not sure who
It
it
was the
was.
111. 111.
Ron Hagelin. Wow. Second driver tonight to get hit with an engine failure. 111 Coca-Cola Chevrolet trying to limp it back to pit road.
Yeah, that was just out of the blue.
Saw him get shot out inside there. And the back half of our camera shot down the back straightaway. Your point, just no warning as we go back and take a look at a replay of what happened. Hagelin still trying to coast that thing back to pit road.
Did a 360 and kept going as everybody was wrecking behind him.
Ty Jones in the Sunoco machine behind him. Right there, you can see the smoke.
Cuts it off about halfway through turn 3 after the wreck.
Ooh, hitting to the inside wall there for Dave Melson. Jerm Lewis, Greg Palmer I see involved. Mark Paglia, rear tires came up off the ground on the 28. Like Terry Bombard, as we'll see with this shot, looks like he also was involved in this incident. Bobby Farrell gets through it nicely, as did Tim Nofsker. Robbie Nices, JT Mayhew, and Greg Palmer, they were playing a little bit of bumper cars back there. That's how the 22 spun out. Go on board with Bobby Farrell in the 92. He did a nice job of snaking his way through this, and following right in his tire tracks was the 088 of Tim Nosker, former winner from this season. Here's the onboard with Farrell. See the smoke right there. Off from underneath of Ron Hagelin's machine. There you see that little, we'll call it a mini blowover. For Mark Paglia, and Bobby Farrell, just like that, picks up about 3-4 positions with that incident. Brian Rawson brought out the first caution for an engine camshaft issue. Second caution of the night for Ron Hagelin, engine ignition. The reasoning for this DNF. So far, it's not necessarily been the racetrack, the three-wide racing, the pit road, all the different key points that we kind of look at as the treacherous areas that the drivers have to avoid. It's actually been the mechanical gremlins here tonight. And one thing that this has actually done is it has forced these drivers in a way to change up the strategy again in terms of when do they want to come to pit road, when do they want to stay out and keep track position. It keeps kind of moving the number, moving the dial potentially of that target number that the drivers normally aim for.
Yep, that is true. Gonna make things very interesting. You know, the key pit strategy is always a big thing here. And as you said, Seth, what is this, our second caution of the day? Averaging about six a race. So by the calculations, I don't think cautions are over with, but it's gonna really mess up all types of pit strategy.
We're gonna have 38 drivers still running, all 38 on the lead lap. Only had 2 drivers out of the race for mechanical problems as Kelly Causey elects to take the track position, and he is our current race leader here under the second caution of the evening. Nearing lap 20, let's take an opportunity, step aside for a commercial break and get a word from our sponsor, Ultimate Garage Floors. The following presentation of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series on the Flatout Racing Network is brought to you by Ultimate Garage Floors. Ultimate Garage Floors is very active in the garage remodeling community staying current with the latest technologies and custom configurations so that we can bring you the highest quality installations. As a Northern Virginia Exposy flooring installer, we focus on garages and commercial flooring to perfect our craft and bring you high results. In a space that gets as much wear and tear as your garage, you want to be able to trust that the cabinets and flooring we install are ready to withstand against high traffic and regular use. That is why we include a lifetime warranty with our services so that you know we stand behind the quality of our work. To get started with a free consultation, call us at 540-931-9006 or visit us on the web at ultimategaragefloorsva.net. That's ultimategaragefloorsva.net. Gonna be getting ready to go back green here. Lights out atop the pace truck. Now Kelly Causey give up the lead to dive onto pit road. Let's see if we can quickly jump down and talk with the driver of the 055, Ken Roberts. Want to get a little bit of an idea of what's been going on here with these mechanical problems. See if that might be a cause for concern for some of these drivers out here. If I can find him. I must be blind. There we go. See if we can quickly dial him up here. Hey Ken, Seth and Michael up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Sure do, guys. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing good, but kind of wondering what's going on up here in the booth with what we're seeing out there on the racetrack. Not very often that we see in the early going two mechanical problems. Is that something that's maybe a concern for you guys down there? Because we don't normally see the mass exodus of drivers retiring from a super speedway race due to something under the hood.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on, but it seems like the last 2 weeks we've been having full moon racing.
Well, you're up there right now, inside of the top 10. Been having a good run since the drop of the green flag. We've seen you kind of an advocate of that third line, it seems like. Seems like you're making some hay up there.
Yeah, running up here with these big dogs, trying to stay in the front.
You know, it's a very difficult thing to do a lot here at Talladega. Stay at the front, or because you end up, at one point you're at the front, at one point you're in the back. What's their best strategy to just try to stay up front?
Yeah, just trying to stay in the front here, guys. That's really about all. Keep up here with these big guys and try to get to the finish.
All right, well, we see you're getting ready to go back green, so we'll let you get back at it. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Robbie Nisus is going to be the one to lead us back to green. That very familiar Fred Jones-looking paint scheme there. The man, the myth, the legend, Fred Jones. His Toyota is going to be alongside of Grant Wesley. Ooh, very ready for the green flag was Robbie Nisus there. He's going to clear Grant Wesley before they get to turn one. Might be able to tuck up in front of that 88. It was Joe DeSpirito, Donnie Garrett, and Jeremy Jeffries, the top 5 for that restart. See if Nisus, yeah, he's going to jump up to the middle line. Ooh, maybe a little too high there. Unless he's planning on getting the lap led and dropping to the back. Left the middle lane open. Grant Wesley's going to drive right on through it.
He might have. Might be by design.
Robbie Nisus, I believe, had not led a lap prior. So that might have been a strategy call. Get the bonus point for a lap led. It's now Grant Wesley versus Joe DeSpirito. Wesley on the top, DeSpirito on the bottom. Wesley's got Donnie Garrett and the driver we just talked with, Ken Roberts. Jeremy Jeffries is on the bottom there with John Godfrey in the 7-Eleven. I was actually looking See where John Godfrey was positioned in the point standings, and that's another driver that we'll have to keep an eye on, kind of in the same boat as Joe DeSpirito. DeSpirito 32nd in points. John Godfrey is 47th in point standings. I think he's only made one previous start this season. I'll double check on that. Yeah, he's only made one previous start. He's had provisionals in the other 3 races, so nice to see him back in the field and having a good run up here inside of the top 10. Right behind him, Jessica Shelton, Tim Nofsker. There's Bernie Mobbs up there. You can see the number 31 Celsius machine. That I believe is a Dodge. Yep, a Dodge Ram. 4th on that outside line there.
Trying to see the 77, Donnie Garrett switch to the inside, making it side by side for the lead again. And Garrett might edge out for the lead here.
Donnie Garrett tied for 16th in points. We know that he missed a week earlier on this season. That was, I believe, the 2nd week, if I'm not mistaken.
We've all missed a week at some point.
We have, that's true. Life comes first. And I believe he is coming off of a back-to-back top 5 finishes. 2nd a couple of weeks ago here at Talladega, and then 5th last week at BSR. Jumped up 11 spots in the standings after that top 5 run last week. So trying to make his way up into the top 12 in the point standings. As these lanes, they're pretty even right now, which puts the pressure on the 3rd, 4th, 5th place car in line. Mobbs, Godfrey, Shelton, Demar, Richard Martin back in that area. Bob Seminara's up there on that top line. Tim Nofsker down there on the inside line. Kind of looks like, ironically, the outside line is getting a bit of an advantage going into the corner, which you would think that they'd get the advantage off the corner. The inside line would get the advantage into the corner, and now that middle line is going to start losing momentum because the 3rd line is starting to form up once again. Richard Martin, Brian Schilling, Billy Ellis are up there.
All it takes is a good couple cars. The middle groove doesn't have a lot of cars here, and it's a bit of a gap to the bottom groove here, so we'll see if the outside lane can really make a run.
The medium lane. So what do we have? The rare lane, the medium lane, and the well done lane?
Yes.
I can work with that.
The 17 goes up to the well done lane.
I'm gonna race. I'm gonna at some point. I don't remember if the Barebone series runs in a super speedway, but I'm gonna call that out. I'm gonna be like, let's all run the well done lane and see how many people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, these drivers just say they go back and watch the stream, so.
Donnie Garrett gotta get that lap led. Ooh, I don't know if Grant got a bump from Ken or if he just was starting to migrate his way up to that 3rd lane. Crossing the start-finish line.
Way up to the 3rd lane. I saw that he moved up, yeah.
Gonna pick up Chuck McClure in the 17. It was actually kind of funny. I was watching these drivers in practice, and you know the saying, "How low can you go?"
How low can you glow?
How low can you glow? Yes, but you know the saying, "How low can you go?" I feel like Chuck McClure and Brian Schilling, they kind of invented the moniker, "How high can you fly?" Because I was watching them. They were 2-truck tandeming, but they were literally up against the outside wall all the way around the racetrack. I mean, it's tough enough to hold it up there without brushing the wall by yourself, but to have bumpers locked up the way they were doing, I thought to myself, are they practicing something for later on in the race just in case they want to maybe get a 4th line going?
It's possible. I mean, at first I thought you were talking about how high they could fly. I thought you were talking about with spinning and flipping over. I thought maybe you're trying to see who can get the most air, but
you know, we've had some candidates for that this season.
Yeah, we really have.
I'm not sure what it is. I mean, we've obviously covered the Tally Challenge back when they were running the Men Cup 19 mod, and I don't honestly remember seeing those cars flip over nearly as much as these trucks have since they moved over to the NCTS 09 mod. I mean, these things just seems like the right angle, the right amount of speed, maybe the right bit of push down the back straightaway, and these things take flight like crazy. What was it last week? I think we had the counter up to 6 or 7 trucks that were either flipping or airborne at some point. We've not had that here today. We've had a mini airborne moment for Mark Paglia, but that's been about the size of it so far. But
Now
I
you
don't
just
know.
went and jinxed it.
But I just don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the design of the trucks. I don't know if it's the hitboxes. I don't know if there was a difference.
I think it's just because everyone has their roof flaps turned off. You're
That-
not really racing if your roof flaps are on.
I mean, that is true. That is true. Honestly, I don't remember if with online if you can like choose whether your roof flaps are on or off, or if that's something that can be dictated via the server.
Oh, looks like
I don't
we might have to
remember.
ask around.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Make that your next question. Let's get one of the admins up here next caution if there is one and ask.
Did you turn off these drivers' safety roof flaps? Top 5 single file, now top 6. Donnie Garrett in 7th. He's going to get himself lined up. As inside line, it's Nofsker, Wesley, and Godfrey. Outside line, Metallic, Chuck McClure, and Brian Schilling. JT Mayhew up there on that outside line in the 338. JT second in the point standings only to Grant Wesley, only 12 points back. Brian Schilling's only 13 points back. Those are the 3, Wesley, Mayhew, and Schilling, that you might be looking at right now, potentially to head into Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway next week as the points leader. Grant Wesley is also within striking distance. He's only 18 points back to the leader.
I was gonna say.
Actually, correction, no, make that Josh Metallic, rather. Grant Wesley's actually the points leader as, little contact there. Metallic and McClure, both the same idea of going up to the 3rd lane.
I was about to say, let's take a look at that driver that was in 3rd place, Jessica Shelton, for starting really, really deep in the field here, but now they're getting freight trained on both sides. No one wanted to go to the middle lane.
Got a number of drivers that started pretty deep in the field that have made their way up here to the front. Shelton, as you mentioned, also Chuck McClure started shotgun on the field. That was Robbie Nices in the 54 coming off of pit lane. So we might be getting close to these drivers having to think about a round of green flag pit stops, because remember, Nices stayed out under the last caution to lead us back to green. But McClure, Shelton, Bob Seminara started 33rd, and he's now running in 4th position there, 4th truck on the inside line. So a number of drivers have done a good job of cutting their way through the field. Brian Schilling, I believe he was up here inside of the top 10. Yeah, there he is, 3rd truck on the outside line. He rolled off the grid 28th. Bernie Mobbs rolled off 26th. He's up to 3rd, so drivers have done a good job of making their way up through the what was 40 truck field and now up into the top 10 after not getting the benefit of the random qualifying draw. And we talk about that, the random qualifying during the course of the regular season, but remember back last season and even the season prior how it really affected the playoff drivers, because they didn't know if they were going to start up at the front, middle, or rear of the field. And we saw some drivers, even 1-2 weeks into the playoffs, have their playoff hopes dashed because they didn't get the random qualifying draw that they wanted and got caught up in early incidents.
Yes, that is very true. Incidents can happen all over. You get caught up in one early, and it could take you out early. You could lose all those spots and positions and points. It's just, it's there's a mix between wanting to race aggressive and wanting to race conservative, and sometimes you got to really pick and choose.
Side-by-side battle, it's going to be for 4th. Just joined us, we've worked 2 cautions, both for mechanical failures that have taken Ron Hagelin and Brian Rawson out of the race. 37 of our 38 remaining trucks are running on the lead lap. Robbie Nices is currently 1 lap down, would be in the lucky dog position if we were to get a yellow. And 36 of our drivers are up in this lead pack right now, which is only separated from front to back by 2 seconds. Tom Dixon's currently, little more than half a lap down. He would more than likely, I think based off of the speed, the lap times right now, he would get put a lap down within the next 2 to 3 laps. He's only about 12 seconds ahead of the race leader, which right now is the 24 of Joe DeSpirito.
For now, here comes Josh Metallic on the outside.
With a big push and a lot of momentum. Chuck McClure gonna propel the Geico 39 Tony Kanaan car out at least by half a truck length to the race lead. Josh looking to lead his first lap of the night. Most laps so far have been led by Donnie Garrett, the only driver that has led double-digit laps, 10 laps in total. Jeremy Jeffries has led 6, and Joe DeSpirito has led 4. Those are the top 3 lap leaders so far tonight. Trying to remember, when did we go back green? Was it lap 16, lap 17, I think?
I believe so.
Yeah, so we're, within maybe about the 5-lap range of when these drivers would have to come to pit road. Think about maybe 39 to 40. As now you see them migrate down to the inside line, Metallic, McClure, and Brian Schilling. So these drivers, based off of calculations, they would still have to make 2 more pit stops before the conclusion of this race. Jeff Crivello, 56, the State Farm Dodge. You see him leaving pit road. Regularly scheduled stop for him, green flag pit stop.
I was just informed. Just informed that we are about 3 to 4 laps away now, so you about called it right on the dot.
Yep, so about 38, 39, when we can expect to probably see these drivers hit the pit road. Tom Dixon rather, is about to go a lap down. Crivello's already gone a lap down, as has Robbie Nices, but Crivello and Nices have both been to pit road here under this green flag run. And we'll see, when do the radios light up? When do the hands go out the window? About maybe another 2.5 laps before we're going to see most of these drivers on pit road. Grant Wesley going to shift up there to the outside lines, so maybe the 88 saved an extra lap of fuel. Will not be a part of the first group coming to pit lane. Not seeing any radios lighting up just yet. Looks like they're going to, for the most part, going to stay out still. Thought we might see the 143 of Bob Dixon on pit road. Oh, he's already been on pit road. There you go. I was going to say, the Dixons usually come to pit road a lap or 2 prior to everybody else.
Which isn't
right
always.
On cue.
Which isn't always a bad thing.
No, true. Come down a much cleaner pit road. You get the ease of access of how you want to get to the pit lane entrance without running over or getting run over by somebody. I think we got a group coming to pit road this time. I'm starting to see those radios lighten up, and I think we might be starting with our race leader.
Wreck.
And the caution's out.
Oh, flipping over the 99 of Doug Woolley and the 26 of Billy Elliser.
Over in turn 3.
Well as Terry Bombard as well. Somebody going backwards on top of the wall over there.
That is, I believe, Nathan Balser.
Yep. Well, so much for green flag pit stops.
And I think everybody that was planning on coming to pit road, they are panic throwing in the clutch right now, because they got to make another 2.66 miles around here under pacing before pit road is open.
Couple cars came in under close pit, had no choice.
Oh yeah, Jeremy Jeffries, I just saw, was one of them. Taking the penalty that will send them to the back, coming down a closed pit road. As the pace truck's making his way slowly up there. Isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're Josh Metallic. You see him down the apron. That engine is shut off. You can tell with the truck bogged down into the racing surface. Third caution of the day. This is the first caution for cause Well, I guess the second caution could be considered for cause, as there was a wreck with drivers trying to avoid the expired engine of Ron Hagelin. But let's go back and take a look at what happened as Metallic leads the field down pit road. Look back at the incident, but then I also want to take a look at Jeremy Jeffries because he had a moment getting onto pit lane. As, well, we had a truck catch air for sure. That was Nathan Balser. Watch this here. Oh, whoa. Warp issue. 079 warped backwards into the front of Terry Bombard. And then Bombard goes up and over after contact with the 8 of Glenn Harris. Which, by the way, for anybody out there that's near a Krispy Kreme, head to your Krispy Kreme tomorrow. It's National Donut Day. Get a free donut.
Oh, that's true.
Do you have a Krispy Kreme near you?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a drive.
We got one that's about, I think it's like an hour and a half away. There's Billy Elliser up into the air with Doug Woolley. Dave Melson, I think, might have gotten a slight piece of it there in the Wonder Bread Chevrolet. Take another angle of that one there with the 99 and the 26. See the 079 when he warps backwards. The rear bed of his truck glitches into the hood of the 99. The two of them get sent up into the air, and then that's going into a corner where
So you're saying
both trucks migrate up the banking.
Not that any of our viewers will get this reference, but so you're saying somebody got Charles Jackson?
Yes. Somebody got reverse DJ Curtis. That's what actually happened. And then here's what happened with Jeremy Jeffries. Caution was already out. But Jeffries brings it down to pit road here.
Yeah,
Locks up the brakes, and then just a little half spin.
Yeah, so like it was like I was told, some of them just had no choice; they had to come down.
It's a little surprising in the case of Jeremy Jeffries because he didn't lead, at least to my knowledge, any, if very few laps under that run. So I'm a little bit surprised that, drivers like Metallic and Despirito, who had actually been leading their respective lines, that they were able to make it the extra lap, but Jeremy Jeffries was not. So unfortunate there for Jeremy Jeffries. The good news for Jeremy Jeffries is, though, that victory last week gives him a cushion to be able to make a call like that, kick the EOL penalty, and try cutting his way back up to the front of the field. He's guaranteed he'll be in the postseason as long as he stays in the top 20 in points.
And we're just after halfway, so still time to get from the back to the front.
I believe that we will be probably getting back green somewhere at the completion of lap 39, maybe completion of lap 40 onto 41. That would still put these drivers outside of the window of being able to make it on fuel, somewhere in the 4 to 5 lap range. These drivers cannot make it the rest of the way, no matter how late they pit under this pacing period. I think with the timing of that caution, that Jeff Crivello and Mike Mangialardi, they would have been the lucky dogs. Right now, though, with everybody that had come to pit road, they're showing the 56, the 0, and the 54 on the tail end of the lead lap. And here you see both the Dixon brothers, Bob and Tom Dixon, coming around, I think because of the 3 drivers being on the tail end of the lead lap that I just mentioned. That puts the 143 and the 45 in the lucky dog positions. So once the lights go out in the pace car and the lucky dogs and wave arounds go around and get their laps back, all remaining 36 drivers will be on the lead lap when we get ready to go back racing Two drivers, I'm sorry, have now entered into the garage area, joining Hagelin and Rawson. They are Doug Woolley and Nathan Balser. Balser will get credit for 38th. Doug Woolley will get credited for 37th. Chris Emery. First time that he's been out in front tonight. And he'll be the one to lead us to green. Metallic will line up second. Brian Schilling third. Joe DeSpirito in fourth. Chuck McClure is going to be fifth. Ken Roberts sixth. Kelly Causey in seventh. JT Mayhew eighth. Craig Hagley in ninth. And Grant Wesley, our pole sitter, will complete the top 10. And can confirm all 36 drivers now will be on the lead lap for this upcoming restart. So 5 laps about roughly short of making it to the finish. Michael, what are we racing to if you're a driver? Are we racing to that final green flag money pit stop in terms of how aggressive you are on this next run? Or are we racing to get as much track position as we can in preparation for the final pit stop potentially being under yellow?
No matter what, you're racing to that tank is dry. So you're racing this whole race as if you're running to a green flag pit stop right at the end, so you can take as little fuel as possible.
Next week, these drivers will head into, well, we actually are now into the second half of the regular season, but they'll continue it on next week when we're under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway.
That's an odd name for
number
a racetrack.
6. It is.
There's no screwdriver anywhere on that racetrack.
Have you ever tried to burn a screwdriver?
I don't know.
I've
Sounds like something we should do on vacation.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. Go to Disney World and burn a screwdriver. Yep. Nailed it. Good thing there's a pool it's a good thing there's a pool at our B&B in case things go horribly wrong.
It's not nailed it, you screwed it.
Bad puns are bad. Anyway, green flag getting ready to come back out.
Lose your face.
Chris Emery in the 00 gonna lead us back into turn number 1. There's just some trucks in the field that you cannot miss. And the neon yellow trucks of Emery and Wesley are 2 of them. Look at this, Brian Schilling going the nose up on the top side. Emery saw it, gonna jump up and cover that lane.
Looked like he was almost starting to kind of pull down a little bit too, just in case the Ford decided he wanted to try to cut to the inside.
Kelly Causey's gonna lead that inside line. Craig Hagley right behind him. Greg Palmer third on that inside line. Kelly Causey with the Bama Buggies Chevrolet sponsorship. Of course, Talladega right here in Alabama.
No, I thought it was in Mississippi.
It could be.
I think that's where Burnt Screwdrivers is.
Actually, Burnt Screwdrivers, they have a location for it. I don't recall exactly where it is. Let me see if I can lightning find out where Burnt Screwdrivers is. It is in Bentonville, Arkansas. So there you go. Squirrel that away and remember it.
That's true.
Top 5 single file. Got the 2 LaJoy's Tires sponsored cars. On the inside line there, Bob Seminara leading John Godfrey. Top side, Brian Schilling, Chuck McClure trying to make something happen. Following up on the one of Jeremy Jeffries, who had the EOL with coming down to closed pit road. He's back in 29th position right now, last week's winner. And he is, I believe, currently up on the outside line there. Nope, actually, that was Terry Bombard. Jeffries might have been the truck in the middle, the Black Eagle 1 Chevrolet Silverado. Well, Kelly Causey, Buckshot. Trying to recall.
Is it Kelly Causey Buckshot or is it Kelly Buckshot Causey?
It is Kelly Buckshot Causey. But I'm trying to recall if he has a previous Tally Challenge victory. I think
Whoa!
he does. Whoa.
Donnie Garrett. Side drift to the extreme right there with Chris Emery.
Near contact between those two in a battle for fourth. Donnie trying to stifle that outside line, trying to find a way maybe up to that middle groove.
Didn't work, but now is his chance. There
I
he
know
goes.
Kelly Causey has made the playoffs. I believe it is back-to-back seasons, but I believe in both of those seasons, I think he made it in via points. I don't think he made it in via victory. I'll double check on that. Greg Hagley, I do know for certain he has never won in the Tally Challenge, and neither has Greg Palmer. So he got some potential, I don't want to say Cinderella stories, but certainly some feel-good stories up here at the front of the field. Potentially the top three looking for their first career wins. Jury's still out here. I'm double checking on the Kelly Causey assumption on whether or not he has a previous victory here in the Tally Challenge or not. Things are kind of broken up here at the front. Got 5 in the middle, 4 up on the top, then 3 in the middle. Nobody really at all committed to that inside line at all. I think you've got, no, there is actually nobody on that inside line. Look at that. Everybody's up above that first set of white hash marks.
That's about where the groove's at. It's where you want to be. 20 laps to go this time by.
And we know, you said it, we're not going to see anybody come to pit road when the fuel window is open. It's a possibility. It's something drivers could do.
If you get a big enough group.
But we've always talked about it as a possibility, and nobody ever does it. They always wait until the very end, maybe catch a caution to come down pit road, as that was close. Chris Emery and Brian Schilling making some contact, almost some bumper grab in one of the most treacherous areas of this racetrack there through the tri-oval. That could have very nearly been our 4th caution of the day.
Well, we need at least 3 more in order to hit our average. So, as these cars continue on down the back straightaway, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how many laps away we are from pit stops here, and just what all is going to happen in set pit stops if we can get them under green.
Mark Paglia has made his way up into the top 10. He was involved in the 2nd caution. Caught some air. Dave Melson just got put a lap down, and he looks like he's off the pace.
Could have had some damage from one of the wrecks. It's very possible.
I think he got a slight piece of that last wreck. I think he got into Doug Woolley potentially. Ooh, that's scary. That side to side there by Craig Hagley. I don't know if the 038 there of Dave Melson, if he might have some aero damage, might have some engine damage. I'm not certain. And I have looked back and can confirm Kelly Causey right now is looking for what would be his first career win in the Tally Challenge. He has twice pointed his way into the playoffs, but he has never gotten a checkered flag yet in this series. Maybe tonight is the night.
Always possible.
Dave Melson right now would be the only truck in need of the lucky dog should we get a yellow. Tom Dixon has again fallen off of the lead pack. And 34 trucks are within about 2.2 seconds of each other up in this lead pack. Kelly Causey, he comes around here, completes this lap as the leader. He will be in a tie with Donnie Garrett for most laps led here tonight, 10 apiece. Jeremy Jeffries has led
17 laps to go, so 17 more laps up for grabs.
Robbie Nices just hit pit lane, just completed his service, so he should be good to make it the rest of the way on fuel now. Jeremy Jeffries has led 6 laps. Josh Metallic has led 5. 4 laps led for Chris Emery. 4 also led for Joe DeSpirito. 2 laps led apiece for Robbie Nisus, Nathan Balser, Ken Roberts, Tim Nofsker, and then 1 lap led apiece so far tonight for Craig Hagley, Grant Wesley, and I believe, yes, that is the completion of the drivers that have been out in front here tonight. Kelly Causey about to lead his race high 11th lap of the night, so he is now in control of that bonus point for most laps led at this point in time. The driver that is trying to combat that, Donnie Garrett, is currently in the 5th position, as talked about Marpaglia breaking his way back up into the top 10 after being involved in the second caution, and he's got a pretty strong outside line there with Brian Schilling, Chuck McClure, and Tim Nofsker, our winner from a couple of weeks ago.
Gonna be interesting. I can't wait just to have this lap go, Seth. And if I'm hoping so much that we can stay green the rest of these laps, because the hot pitting that these drivers do at this racetrack, it can always bite you in the butt as easily as it can help you.
Love to see it come down to the green flag money stop potentially here at Talladega. I'm with you on that. As you got the inside line starting to form up a little bit more, a little bit further back. John Godfrey, Bernie Mobbs, Joe DeSpirito there.
John Gilbert Godfrey.
One driver that has been able to kind of break away from that group was Bob Seminara. He and John Godfrey were working together, but he's been able to move up about 3-4 trucks ahead. Now into that 4th position, and we may have a 3rd line forming further back. Josh Metallic, JT Mayhew, and I believe that is Doug Hewlick up there. Those 3 trucks trying to make something happen.
24 all by himself.
And he is going to the back. Go to Spirito. These drivers, based off of calculations, they're going to have about 7, maybe 8 more laps before they're going to have to come to pit road. And again, as mentioned, you've got 3 drivers right here, your top 3, all looking for their first career win in the Tally Challenge.
You're thinking that many pit stops, but how much do you think for the race leader who's been out front since the restart, using up the most fuel?
Probably for him, I'd say lap 60 might be the furthest you could go.
It'll be
Maybe.
interesting to find out.
I'd say maybe completion of 59, maybe completion of 60. Jeff Crivello going to go a lap down here. Let me double check and see. He might have actually just made a pit stop. Yes, he did. So the 56 and the 54 right now are 2 drivers that we know can make it on fuel, though they did come to pit road by themselves. Dave Melson going to go another lap down. So, yeah, we saw him get what I thought was a slight bit of contact from the last yellow flag. Apparently, it was much more than that, as we just nearly had our 4th caution right there. Very squirrely was Chuck McClure. Nice save. Tom Dixon now going to go a lap down, so he would be the first truck in a free pass position. And again, we're having some uneven bumping through the center of the corner in 1 and 2 between Brian Schilling and Chuck McClure.
Trying to get every shove possible to get up there, and passing lap cars isn't always easy, even if they get out of the way.
Is it too early to shove, or do you have to do that if you're that second line to gain maybe that extra 1 or 2 positions in preparation, maybe for the final pit stop of the night, being under green flag conditions?
In all honesty, I think it's still a little bit too early. You want to try to get up, you want to try to get up there, try to get clear, but at the same time, you need to start finding yourself an opening to get to the inside.
Kelly Causey sees that outside line. It's got a little bit of momentum. Saw him move up about maybe a quarter of a groove. Block any run that Mark Paglia might have been able to generate from the tri-oval over into turn 1. So right there, Causey and Hagley kind of wanted to move up to that middle groove, but I think they're kind of fully committed to that yellow line, especially with the fact that they want that ease of access onto pit lane if possible, as a couple of trucks got the apron back there. Bob Seminara and Donnie Garrett, 4th and 5th truck in line. These drivers, they're tempting fate. Oh, Seminara's in. Donnie Garrett's in. Got a number of them that are hitting pit road. Joe DeSpirito. Oh, Jeremy Jeffries is going to spin around right in front of DeSpirito. Grant Wesley, Wiley Coate, they were on pit lane as well. About a group of a half dozen hitting pit lane here, coming to 12 laps to go.
All they need to take is probably what, a can, give or take? However much it gives you for about 10 laps.
Yeah, actually it was 10 laps to go, not 12 laps to go. I was looking at a truck that was a lap down with the scoring. So yeah, it would be just a can that you would have to take on there. That's a tough break there for Jeremy Jeffries, though. I don't know if he got it down to pit road speed, but certainly the spin is going to lose him track position.
Here
and now
comes
the
more.
been thrown down, so here we go. Causey is in from the lead. Hagley, Greg Palmer, Josh Metallic, Ken Roberts. Looks like this group was much more organized. Bernie Mobbs, Richard Martin, Jessica Shelton. I believe Milt Surratt was in this group. Cy Jones. Oh, we got a spinner back there. Cy Jones just turned the 616 of Jerm Lewis.
I think was coming out of his pit stall.
On pit road, so no caution. The race leader is right there, Mark Paglia. Let's see how long
Jones
he
trying
stays
to get
out.
into his pit stall and just turning in front of people.
Got about a group of 6 or 7 here. Hagley coming in this time? Yes, he is. Everyone from this group is coming in. Oh, Nosker came flying. Oh, Paglia locks it up. He's going to spin it out and hit the inside wall. Chuck McClure having that final pit stop there. The earliest pit stall, I think he overshot. Really difficult, I've been told, to hot pit when you've got a pit stall that's that close to the entrance of pit lane. Very difficult to whoa that thing up. Now we wait and see. It looks like everybody made it onto pit road. Any incidents were off the racing surface. So now who cycles to where? Look at this big run here with Seminara, Wesley, and Donnie Garrett trying to get around the outside of the group of Kelly Causey, Josh Metallic, Craig Hagley, and Greg Palmer. One driver has gone back to the garage area after the incidents there on pit road. That's John Godfrey. Godfrey's going to get credited for 36th tonight, as Causey was first in, first off of pit road. It looks like he will cycle back to the point, and this time by, it will be 6 laps to go. Correction, 7 laps to go.
Splitting a lap car in the middle.
Knopfsker's going to get past. Jason Scheck just was passed. That was for position. Kelly Causey should, this time by, jump up to P1 on the leaderboard, which indeed he does. Josh Metallic cycles to 2nd. Craig Hagley in 3rd. Palmer 4th. Wesley in 5th. And it's Seminara, Donnie Garrett, Ken Roberts, that is 6th through 8th. 9th, Joe DeSpirito, and Knopfsker will slot into the 10th position. Looks like it's Ken Roberts, I believe, in 11th. Then Wiley Coate in 12th, and Bernie Mobbs in 13th. I think we got about 13, 14 drivers. Maybe they'll be up in this lead pack. Maybe Chris Emery will be able to latch on. But we do have lap trucks, as you mentioned, Michael, so that means that the point of no return is going to be right around that completion of lap 62, which is about 2 laps away.
Yep, gonna keep an eye out, single file, everything seems good. Hopefully they can keep it this way, keep it clean and green till the end. Who do you think's gonna make the first move? Who you got?
Honestly, I'm looking at Bob Seminara in that 712. He's got Donnie Garrett there with him. Those two are the Florida gang. I think if the 712 steps out, 77 goes with him, and that's when you're going to start to see the rest of the top 5 have to make some decisions of if they want to work with that line or try and make their own moves?
I don't know. I think I got my eye on Grant Wesley.
Manera moving up there. Might have tried to get a little whiff of draft off of Jeremy Jeffries, who had that pit road miscue. Boy, Jeremy, very lucky that he had that victory last week, because it's been an up and down day for him here tonight. Getting put a lap down back in the 32nd position, 1 week removed from the elation of victory lane at BSR. Hit the line, it's the point of no return. We race back to the caution if it comes out. And look back at any subsequent replays afterwards. Causey looking for his first win. Metallic looking for his first win of the season. Former champion. Craig Hagley and Greg Palmer, third and fourth, they're looking for their first career wins. And then you've got the former champions of Grant Wesley and Bob Seminara. Grant looking for his second win on the season. Bob Seminara looking for his first of season 59. How long do you wait if you're second on back? Still a long ways to go if you consider the fact that there's 3.5 laps remaining. Don't want to make that move too early.
No, you don't, and not at all. Hopefully if they stay like this, you don't have to really worry about a caution coming out. Not to jinx anything, but it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the one to make that first move.
Like we got 12 trucks up in this lead group, 12 lead lap trucks back to Wiley Coat. Maybe Bernie Mobs will have a shot of getting up into this as well, which would bring it up to 13. But if you're going to make something happen, it's got to generate back around that 10th, 11th, 12th position. You can't just sit and ride there. So we'll see maybe Tim Nofsker back in that 088 who's already got a victory. He might be the one to start something in the latter half of this lead group.
I need to drink of my Gatorade for this finish.
Gonna be 2 laps to go this next time by. How wide can Kelly Causey make his back bumper here against Josh Metallic?
You know these drivers have got to be getting antsy now.
Still single file. We'll see if someone steps out here at 2 to go. Do they maybe wait until the white flag lap? Last thing you want to do is not make a move this lap, have a caution come out, and have this proverbially be the last lap. You got to kind of have that in the back of your mind. Things
Wesley backed up a little bit.
Out.
Grant backed up a little bit.
And he's going to jump to the inside. Greg Palmer covers it. Hagley jumps down. Metallic jumps down. Kelly Causey couldn't cover it. And Greg Palmer is going to go with Josh. Those two all by themselves down there. Everybody else stays in the middle line. Nofsker's making something happen up in the third lane with Jason Scheck and Wiley Coates. Can they make it back to the white flag?
Oh, they've got a group of lap trucks ahead of them.
Through the tri-oval, back to the start-finish line. It's Kelly Causey out in front. White flag in the air. 2.66 miles to settle it. Everyone dives to the bottom.
Oh!
Top 3 covered it. Nofsker nearly wrecked. 4 wide. Nofsker into the wall. I think he kept it going.
Yeah, Nofsker just get bounced around out there.
Tim Nofsker getting pinballed back to the rear of this lead pack and now out of the conversation. Contact between Hagley and Grant Wesley going into 3. That sent Wesley to the apron. He saved it though. All over the back bumper of Kelly Causey is Craig Hagley. Both these drivers want their first career win in the Tally Challenge. Where does Hagley go?
Nowhere. He's got nowhere to go.
Kelly Causey, first career win in the Tally Challenge here tonight at Talladega in season 59.
My question is, I don't remember who it was. Was Kelly Causey, is this his first win, or I thought he got a win because somebody got disqualified?
I looked back, and from what I saw, Causey, this is his first career win. He's pointed his way into the playoffs, but I looked all the way back to season
I could have been
53
thinking about,
or 54.
I could have been thinking about somebody else.
Thinking maybe of Keith Hughes?
No, because I remember there was someone who got DQ'd, and Kelly Causey picked up the unofficial victory. Or I thought it was Kelly Causey anyways. I don't know. Could have been somebody else, but either way, congratulations. First win or not, a win is a win, and it always feels like the same, like a first win.
Causey led a race high 19 laps. Came into this race in 19th in points. So he would have been inside of the top 20 for this win to count towards a playoff spot. And for the first time in his Tally Challenge career, he will win his way into the postseason.
Caution was out.
Might have been an incident on the last lap.
We
Didn't have any bearing on the finish of this race up in the lead pack.
So we've got Grant Wesley, Craig Hagley, and Kelly Causey, your podium finishers.
Hard to tell.
Well, he's having
Craig-
fun out there.
This might be a very long burnout. It's hard to tell if Craig Hagley was playing defense or if he was trying to figure out his own strategy to get around the 00. We'll get to ask him in our post-race interviews. Oh, well, that truck didn't have a scratch on it until now. Actually, pretty good parking job, though. Pretty nice race win photo there.
Would
The damaged
agree.
part of the truck's up against the wall. You can't see it, so. Take a look at the final finishing results from tonight. Michael ran down our top three. Bob Seminara brings it home in 4th. Josh Metallic in 5th. Johnny Garrett, another great run for him. 6th place. 7th for Greg Palmer. Joe DeSpirito, 8th. Ken Roberts, 9th. And Bernie Mobbs complete the top 10. Pretty much on down to 11th through 13th. Shekko and Nofsker. Those are all the drivers that nailed that final pit stop and were up in the lead pack in the closing stages. Brian Schilling was the leader of the second group. He gets 14th. Chuck McClure 15th. Glenn Harris, Richard Martin, and Jessica Shelton 16th through 18th, with Doug Kulik and Jeff Crivello completing the top 20. As we scroll further on down here, you see the drivers that did not execute on that final green flag pit stop and subsequently not going to get the finishes they were looking for. A couple that kind of stand out to me: JT Mayhew, second in the point standings, was running up inside of the top 15 most of the day, but 27th is where he's going to end up. Mark Paglia had an issue on pit road, 28th, after he had mounted a comeback after being involved in an earlier incident. He was up inside of the top 10 when that final round of green flag pit stops took place. Jeremy Jeffries came down to closed pit road, had to take an EOL, had made his way back up into the top 15, and then an issue on pit road on his green flag pit stop. First truck one lap down in 31st. At 35, drivers finished the race with 30 of them on the lead lap. Godfrey, Woolley, Balser, Hagelin, and Rossen did not reach the conclusion. Hagelin and Rossen, the first two cautions of the evening, mechanical failures in the first 15 laps of tonight's festivities. But Kelly Causey is the man of the hour here tonight with his first career win in the Tally Challenge. We're going to be talking with him down in Victory Lane in just a moment, but let's see if we can work our way from third up to first. See if we can dial up the driver that came into tonight's race as the points leader, former winner on the season, Grant Wesley. Hey, Grant, Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Wild last couple of laps there coming to the checkered flag. A lot of bobbing and weaving, a lot of blocking going on there. You guys all kept it in one piece, but we saw that, almost near wreck going into turn 3. You were on the inside of the 32 of Hagley, had to go down there on the apron. Was that the last shot you had, or could you have generated something off of 4 through the tri-oval?
Yeah, man, I tell you what, those last 5 laps were a ton of fun. That's what I love to see here on Thursdays is, racing it out to the checkered. Just everybody just having a great time. So no complaints. As you alluded to there, last lap going into 3. Yeah, I had to lift off the gas. As we came across the white flag, I had to run there in the middle. I seen Tim, he was leading the line on the very top. And so I knew that middle was going to drop. So I went down to the bottom. And yeah, Hagley, he kind of chopped my nose going into one. That was okay. Then I got another run on him down the backstretch and got underneath him. And yeah, I don't know. He apologized for it. I'm not mad about it. It just is kind of nature of the beast on the last lap. Just taking all you can get, and I'm happy to come away with a third place finish.
Yeah, you had a good good starting spot for a good while with this random draw qualifying. So it's interesting to see you up front most of the time, and just going from the front to the back to the front to the back there. What was the strategy, knowing from the previous races you haven't really had to do a lot of green flag pit stops, but today the final pit stop where it counted was under green flag?
Yeah, I got really lucky this race and drew the pole. I think that may have happened one other race this season. I don't know. I've had really good luck so far this season. Knock on wood. Um, so yeah, no complaints. But yeah, this whole race was fun. There in the beginning, nobody wanted to push the guy in the middle lane. Everybody went to that third lane and just was trying to put him in the sucker hole, and that was awesome. I got stuck there like twice. I went towards the middle of the pack. I found myself mired in like place quite a bit tonight. But I had a lot of fun racing with these guys and getting back towards the front again.
So it was interesting. When we went back green, we knew you guys couldn't make it without at least one more trip to pit road. We were trying to work the calculators. We had you projected around 5 to 6 laps short of making it to the finish. We saw you and the first group of drivers dive onto pit lane with around 10 to go, making it that you would have to take on 1 can of fuel. Was that the initial strategy as soon as you guys went green? Because it kind of looked like after that, everybody else followed suit.
Yeah, it was definitely 1 can of fuel. I didn't have to pit when I did. I think I still had like 3 laps maybe. But I wanted to pit with the first group, mainly, I wasn't sure if there'd be a wreck, and I just wanted to be. I didn't want to, a caution come out and not be able to pit situation. So being the end of the race, I just chose the safe side. I was the first group to come down. There was like 5 or 6 guys that lit up and said they were pitting, so I just jumped in with them.
Came into this race as the points leader, already locked into the playoffs with your win a few weeks ago. And obviously, as well, now we mentioned it at the top of the show, the bracket challenge beginning. You're moving on to the next round of that. So, a lot of positive things happening with this 88 truck here tonight as you put it on the podium. Congratulations on that. Before I let you go, the floor is yours for thank you spots and shout outs, Grant.
Yeah, first off, congratulations to Kelly Causey. These wins are very difficult to get here on Thursday. I know he's been fighting hard for them, and it's long overdue. So, congratulations, Kelly. Also, my bracket buddy there, Bob Dixon. Thanks for the fight tonight. I will gladly take a win and move on. I'd like to thank the owners here, Sean Prime, David Cannon, the admins, Tim or Josh Wiley, Tim. Thank you guys, Flatout Racing Network, Seth and Mike. Man, you're awesome. Can't wait to watch it back. I'd like to thank my teammates with XFM, my friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
Grant Wesley, third place here tonight at Talladega. Really consistent runs as he's trying to get that regular season championship for this 88 truck in preparation for the playoffs. Best of luck next week at BSR. Congrats on the great run here tonight, Grant.
Yep, thanks. Let's keep it rolling.
See if we can go down and get our second place finisher. I believe it's his best career finish here in the Tally Challenge. Let's see if we can dial up the driver, number 32, Craig Hagley. Hey, Craig, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You had your hands full there in that last couple of laps. It was kind of hard to tell where the priority was, whether it was playing defense against the 88 or going on offense against the 00. If you'd had any opportunity to make a move there through the tri-oval, would you have taken it? Because it almost kind of looked like you were more on defense, especially on that final lap.
Yeah, it was more defense. I'd have loved to have been able to get by Kelly, but I just doing everything I could to stay glued to his bumper and make sure that I got him pushed out there to the front.
Yeah, it was a very fun race. You positioned yourself pretty good after those last round of pit stops there. What was the adrenaline in your mind thinking like with those last couple laps coming about 5 to go or so where you were at?
Well, I was shaking pretty much the whole time. I think I probably smoked about 4 cigarettes.
Now, we were looking at that final round of green flag pit stops, so we ended up seeing a group come down around 10 to go. We had you guys projected probably being able to make it around maybe to the 5 laps to go mark. Basically, once that first group had come to pit lane, was that just everybody kind of throwing in the towel and saying, okay, we've got to play the same strategy. We got to come in this next lap? Or was there any part of you that thought, let's try and run this thing dry and see if maybe we can be able to take on less fuel and maybe gain track position that way?
Well, when we come in, I was showing 2 laps, so it was either going to be that lap or the next lap. So we just all ducked in right there.
How about this finish here tonight? Best finish of your career here in the Tally Challenge. This runner-up finish here tonight. Obviously, not the checkered flag, but going to be some really good points. We talk about the fact that every week we're seeing 40 truck fields. You came into this race the first driver below the cut line. You're most certainly going to jump up into the top 12 in the point standings. So, in terms of momentum and consistency, how important was this finish for you here tonight as you try and make your way into the postseason to compete for the championship?
It was really important to get a good finish like that. I had to take a provisional on the second race, and that really killed me in the points. But this will really help out tonight.
Well, great run for you here this evening. Nice to see that 32 up there in the conversation for the win, Craig. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
I want to apologize to Grant for squeezing him down like that, but I was just glued to Kelly and doing everything I could to stay there. So I owe him a spot in the next one. And I want to shout out to my buddy Jeff and everybody over at Talladega Nights for introducing me into the online racing and get me where I am. And it's just amazing to come out here and run with the quality of guys that are out here running every week. And I want to thank Kelly and Greg Palmer and all the team for sticking together tonight and doing the best we can. And shout out to my son Lane.
Strong second place performance here tonight for Craig Hagley. It does indeed jump him up currently into a playoff spot heading into the second half of the regular season. Congratulations on a job well done, Craig. Best of luck here down this home stretch.
Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
Craig's going to jump up 6 spots in the point standings after tonight to 7th in the points. He mentioned that provisional. In the 4 previous starts, Michael, he has not had a finish any lower than 13th place. This actually eclipsed his best finish, which was in the season opener here in season 59, which was 3rd place. So 2 podium finishes for Craig Hagley here this season. You got to think if you're looking at a driver that may not necessarily be able to win his way in, but will point his way into the playoffs. I think you got to look in the direction of that 32.
Oh, absolutely.
Kelly Causey also going to benefit here tonight in the point standings. He jumps up 8 spots in points to 11th overall in the standings with his victory here tonight. Let's see if we can go down to victory lane and dial him up now. Hey, Kelly, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
10-4. Got you loud and clear.
Well, this one's a long time coming. We've seen you make it into the playoffs in 2 seasons. You had to point your way in. You've now locked yourself into a playoff spot via a victory. How good does this one feel? First career win in the Tally Challenge.
Well, actually, it's my second, but it's every time you get one of these, it's exciting, to actually because the caliber of drivers that are out there, man, it's just unbelievable. And it took having some help from me tonight, but it was a great race.
Very difficult, we see sometimes with green flag pit stops for the driver that is leading at the time the pit stops begin to cycle around to the lead. Had to hold off a charge of about 3-4 trucks that had pitted the lap prior and had some momentum. I mean, what kind of strategy did you have if they had managed to get up alongside of you?
Well, Craig was there with me and Rocket, and Craig and I had worked a lot together all night, so I knew he was going to try to stay with me and help me a little bit. So we kind of committed to each other, and he did a great job back in the back behind me, kind of fending those guys off a little bit. So he had a lot to do with me having a victory. There's no doubt about it. And it was fun working with Josh. We got together. Me, Josh, and Greg got together like 3 or 4 times during the course of the night, and so ran with each other a lot. But I've been working on my pits. I got a new steering wheel, new brakes, and all that. And it's my last pit, that was where it is, and came out, with the lead there. So that's what you got to do if you're going to beat these guys, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it seemed like a really fun race. You led a lot of the laps there around the end. You're able to get on and off pit road in first spot. Tell us how difficult that last pit stop was.
Well, it's just nerve wracking, and you've practiced pre-race and all that stuff, and you just you go ahead and set your mark and do what you got to do and take your chance. And I was worried I might be a hot pitted a little hard there, but it didn't quite get me, and I was able to come out of there. So it's nerve wracking, but you just focus at what you got at hand and don't let yourself get too nervous, and look at your marks and do what you've practiced to do, and that's what it took.
So with winning here tonight, you get the obligatory question that I've asked the four previous winners here this season. With having this win under your belt now, knowing that you just have to remain up in the top 20 in points to be able to lock yourself into a postseason berth, what is the focus here with these final races of this regular season? Are we looking for the consistency to maybe win the regular season championship? Are you looking for the bonus points for finding victory lane a couple more times? Are you focused more on the bracket challenge each week now? Where does the focus now lie for the double zero each week heading towards the postseason?
Well, now that you're in the chase or whatever, I'm still going to try to race like I do, and that's try to get to the front as quick as you can. And once you get up there, try to stay and have good pit stops and stay out of the melees that might be happening. And then help some of my teammates that have helped me to get me where I'm at, later. Hopefully I'll have an opportunity to do that later on in the season. So but yeah, I'm just going to drive like I normally do, try to get to the front as quick as I can, and get with some good drivers, and stick with them when it's time to stick with them, and work with people, and that's what it takes.
Well, apologies on getting the number win that you're on incorrect, but a great run for you here tonight, locking yourself into the playoffs. Second win here of the Tally Challenge. We now have 5 races, 5 different drivers have gone to victory lane. So congratulations on that. We're looking forward to seeing what you do here for the remainder of the regular season. Before we let you get back to celebrating, we're going to hand the mic over to you for some victory lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank my wife who's watching me race, and my mom who's always watching. Also, out to them, and some of the guys that work with me tonight, Craig and Rocket, and all those guys that helped me out tonight. It was those guys did a great job tonight working with me. So exciting. But I was glad to take the Bama Buggies Chevrolet to victory lane. Chase Purdy's one of my favorite drives in truck, so that's the reason I got it on there, and I was proud to take it there. But shout out to Ken Roberts, some of my other teammates that were out there too, and Josh worked with me pretty much all night too. So a lot of help, and it's a big victory for me, and I'm extremely excited about it. But can't have it happen without some help, and I thank all those guys.
Big victory for sure. Puts him into the playoffs here for season 59 of the Tally Challenge Series. Kelly Causey, your winner here tonight at Talladega. Congratulations on a job well done. Best of luck here in these final few races of the regular season in preparation for that championship battle.
Thank you. See y'all next week.
And so as the celebration continues for Kelly Causey, yeah, I'll take my plate of crow with a side of potatoes, Mr. Norman, because apparently you were right. I'm not certain exactly which race it was that he got his first career win at. I'm still trying to scroll through and see if I can find it, but yeah, second career win there for Kelly Causey here tonight, and it does extend our different winners this season to 5 straight, with 4 races still left to go.
See, I love being right.
Yeah, yeah. That's all you're gonna say? You're not even gonna rub it even further in my face? You're just gonna do that?
Nope, I'm just gonna say I love being right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, on that humble note, thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight to our coverage from
Haha, use
Talladega.
my brain.
I could say something, but I'm not going to. We hope you guys enjoyed our coverage here tonight from Talladega. Be sure to tune in next week. We continue on the schedule, race number 6 of 9 regular season races when we're under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Will the streak extend to 6? We ended up having a season not too long ago where we had 10 regular season races and 10 different drivers went to victory lane. With the drivers we get in the field every single week, 40 car fields, 40 truck fields, it's very likely, the odds are very much in favor of us maybe doing it again with 10 different drivers locking themselves into the playoffs via win. But only time will tell. Next Thursday night, we're going to be bringing you that coverage at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But Michael, a crazy one here tonight. Really cool to see it come down to that final money stop, green flag pit stop. and they made it all the way around there in that final run without tearing up their equipment. Kelly Causey picking up the victory. I appreciate you joining me up in the booth for this one tonight.
Absolutely. Always enjoy. It's always a pleasure.
We'll see you guys next week at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway as you've been watching the coverage of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. For Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network